Hey everyone, Marco here, the Bob Ross of ESO, and today I'm going to show you a fun, easy, and extremely cool looking Magika Necromancer build that I think you're going to enjoy, whether you're a new or returning player, or even an old pro at the game. I hope you'll like this video and subscribe. Smash those buttons, if this type of content floats your boat. Okay, let's talk about the Necromancer. For me, it's one of the truly unique classes to play in the Elder Scrolls Online because their skills are so specific to who they are. Summoning the undead to aid you, using corpses to boost your powers, throwing skulls. The animations look like no other animations in the game, and they're both awesome and singular to this Living Dead class line. Now, I avoided making a Necromancer for the longest time because what I've seen from other content creators seem to require very complicated rotations and bar swapping and exact timing that didn't appeal to my playstyle, which is more relaxed. Now fear not, my friends. I've come up with a build that is incredibly easy to play, with little or no bar swapping at all, and you'll be able to solo all the overland content and even solo dungeons if you so desire. Okay, let's get into it. All 64 attribute points into Magika. We are a magical and undead creature. We're using the Thief Mundus boon for the increased weapon and spell critical ratings. I like High Elf or Dark Elf for the race, but anything with a little boost to Magika will work. The food's a bit different from my usual builds. I'm using Mistral Banana Bunny Hash, which adds almost 5,400 health and nearly 5,000 extra magicka. Bewitched Sugar Skulls is my go-to for most builds, and that works here as well, but you don't need the extra stamina for this character. For potions, I'm using the typical tri-stats, but I think you're going to find that you hardly ever need them. One of the things I feared about the Necro class is they always seem to be a bit squishy. Most of their damage and heals are dots, or damage over time, or heal over time as the case may be, and that didn't appeal to me because it didn't have the burst heal that I love in other classes. I remedied this in a few different ways. First, the mythic I'm using is Ring of the Pale Order. It was all the rage back when it first came out, and now folks are doing one-bar builds with Oaken Soul. That's fine too. I tried both of them here, and frankly, I like the Ropo Mythic better. It restores 20% of the damage you do as a heal, and that works great for us because we're constantly ticking out damage. There are two other ways that I try to prevent this build from dying. I'm using a companion as a healer. In this video, it's Isabel that I've enabled. Now, she's only level 9 here and doesn't have all of her spells yet, but if you watch her health bar, she's almost always full, and she helps keep my health bar full too. The last failsafe method I have for not dying is setting up the back bar with a restoration staff and heals, damage shields, and health buffs in every slot. If you get into a pickle, you quickly swap bars, mash everything to save your skin. So the strategy here is when you're in trouble, pop a potion first, swap bars and hit everything, and then try dodge rolling away from whatever is hurting you, because that's always a smart decision. Alrighty, let's talk about the armor set, shall we? Those of you who know me know that I like style as well as substance. I wanted a set that had great stats, but also had a unique animation that would mesh well with our undead necro theme. Now the perfect set is Dark Convergence. DC adds magicka along with weapon and spell damage, and nearly 1,500 in offensive penetration, which you don't often see in armor sets. But it's the 5-piece bonus that hooked me. It's an area of effect animation that creates a swirling purple whirlpool, snaring enemies, pulling them in and stunning them, and then it explodes, dealing magical damage to everything in its radius. I absolutely love it. Now, unfortunately, it's not easy to get the 5-piece because it's a PvP set. Yeah, sorry. For every 20,000 alliance points you earn, you receive a reward for the worthy container mailed to you, and Dark Convergence has a chance to drop there. During the Mayhem event, it seems to drop a bunch. Now, if you don't want to try farming DC, just go with Deadly Strike, the other armor set which I really like here. It can be bought on Guild Traders and has the great 5-piece bonus of increasing damage over time by 15%, which is a real plus for a Necro who's always casting dots, but deadly looks boring. The other armor set I'm using is the craftable Order's Wrath, probably my favorite set in the game right now. Tons and tons of critical chance damage added, which helps proc our other set. So listen, you have the Ring of the Pale Order on one hand. I'm using Slimecraw as our 1-piece monster set for more critical chance. Then you get 5 pieces of Dark Convergence, any 5 that will fit. And whatever is left you fill in with Order's Wrath, which you quickly craft. We want all 7 pieces of armor to be light for the passive bonuses, and especially Prodigy, which gives us an extra 1500 weapon and spell critical. We want all divine traits if you can get them or transmute them, and all Magika enchants, except for the Destruction Lightning Staff. On the staff we want Precise as the trait and Shock Damage as the enchant. As I said earlier, I'm using a Restoration Staff on the back bar. The Restro Staff has the Powered trait to increase healing and the Life Drain enchant for the health boost. A Ring of the Pale Order comes with the Bloodthirsty trait, which is also great. Okay, moving on to the skills. The first 3 skills all leave a corpse on the ground, which is vital to making this work. The first one I'm using is Stalking Blast Bones. It's a classic. A flaming skeleton is summoned chasing the enemy and exploding for 10,000 damage. Also, every second the flaming skeleton runs increases the damage by 10%, up to 50%. The next skill we like is Skeletal Arcanist. This summoned skeleton rises from the dirt and stands by us, dealing shock damage to enemies for 20 seconds. The third summoned ally is the Intensive Mender, a ghostly spirit that gives us healing for 8 seconds. Now all 3 of these summoned creatures leave corpses on the ground, which is key for the next skill, Mystic Siphon. Now this spell drains life from a corpse, dealing over 15,000 shock damage over 20 seconds. Yes, another dot. This will happen to all enemies that are around the corpse. It also increases all damage by 3% just for having it slotted, and it gives us a bit of health, magicka, and stamina to boot. The 5th spell is Unstable Wall of Storms. This dot does more shock damage and sets enemies off balance for 7 seconds. And that's important for our champion points. Now for our ultimate, I enjoy the Glacial Colossus. He hits the ground 3 times, each time causing nearly 8,000 in damage, and then stunning the enemy for 4 seconds. He also applies Major Vulnerability, which increases damage taken to enemies by 10%. So except for Unstable Wall, we're using all class-specific skills, which makes our Necro truly Necro-fabulous. Okay, let's quickly go over the back bar, which, as I said, you probably won't need in most situations. I slotted Blessing of Protection, a nice 7,800 burst heal, then Illustrious Healing, a heal over time, Regeneration, another heal over time, Steadfast Ward, which creates a nice damage shield, and Harness Magicka from the Light Armor skill line, which gives us a nice protective ward and brings in Magicka Restore. So let's talk about passives. They're super important for Necros. All the Gravelord passives are necessary. Rapid Rot increases damage over time by 10%, Dismember adds 1500 to spell and physical penetration, etc., etc. They're all amazing passives. In Bone Tyrant, the only passive we need is Last Gasp, which increases max health. Under Living Death, you want all the passives. You also want both your Destruction Staff passives and your Restoration Staff passives, if you can manage that. You'll want all your Light Armor passives. If you have 7 light pieces on, like I recommended, you'll get Prodigy, which adds 1500 to weapon and spell critical, and Concentration, which adds 6,500 physical and spell penetration. Under Assault in Alliance War, I have Continuous Attack unlocked for the 30% mount speed increase. I have all my racial passives unlocked. That's a given with really any character in ESO. Okay, now we can talk about slotted champion points. In the blue Warfare tree, I have Weapons Expert for light and heavy attack bonuses, Fighting Finesse for the 8% critical and damage healing bonus. Exploiter, which is a new one, that adds 10% damage to off-balance enemies. And if you'll remember, we have Unstable Wall slotted, which knocks all the enemies off balance. And finally, Thaumaturge, which adds 6% damage to all our dots, of which there are many with a Necromancer. In the red fitness tree, we have no big surprises. Balanced Vitality for health, Fortified for armor, Siphoning spells to restore Magika with every single kill, and Rejuvenation for health and Magika recovery. The green craft tree is always dealer's choice, but I'm using Steed's Blessing, Treasure Hunter, Master Gatherer, and Plentiful Harvest, but feel free to mix and match your favorites here. If you have any questions about this amazing little build, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks to everyone who's helping me reach my mini milestone of 4,000 subs. Slow and steady wins the race. I hope to see you folks again soon, and as always, I'm Marco. Have fun playing ESO, be kind to one another, and keep exploring.